Yeah, so that's the West will have serious problems with that, I suppose, because, well, if British and American companies have signed agreement on shale gas, on offshore extraction of oil and gas here, would you think that these new people will agree to these corrupt contracts? Yeah, well, the West has to have some agreement with the companies close to the president. They will not. The West will have to face a kind of regime similar to mixture of Thomas Sankara and Pinochet with the nationalistic policies. That's my prediction. And it will be the best solution for the West and for Russia if Yulia Tymoshenko is guiding it. Because
well, that's
absolute majority of other people, they are not at all prepared. Pardon?
Well, Lilit Gevorgyan, though, we had that YouTube tape that was released of American officials discussing who they wanted in power, and they were very much of the mind that it was actually Arseniy Yatsenyuk, who actually leads Tymoshenko's party and led Tymoshenko's party while she was in prison, who they felt should be the main driving force. Does that suggest then that there will be this struggle for influence? And or did that U.S. endorsement diminish him at all?
Well, it probably didn't do a great deal of service in terms of Arseniy Yatsenyuk trying to also secure some support in eastern parts of Ukraine, that many people have been suspicious of the US involvement. But I think we shouldn't really exaggerate the importance of external players in this crisis. Ultimately, it is about a number of opposition groups that are diverged and they are not necessarily united. They have been united only around one issue. They wanted to change the government and get to power. Now, how would they get to power and would they remain united? I highly doubt it.
Right.
What we have to be also aware of is the emergence of a very strong right groups and parties, nationalist parties, who would like to have a stake in the power as well. So Tymoshenko's rise to power or to presidency is definitely on the table, but not necessarily guaranteed, because her supporters among the opposition parties may not be so willing to see her at the top.
And we call these parties ultra-nationalist, Professor Corman, but some would call them anti-Semitic, racist, with sympathies with the Nazis and fascists. I mean, what sort of level of support did they have? How much power did they wield in the opposition?
First of all, I think it's my opinion. What I want to add to this discussion. Mr. Yanukovych has the first chance when he was Premier Minister, and second chance when he won elected by President. The Tymoshenko has one chance when she was a Premier Minister, and maybe the time will come when she can have a second chance, but it will last chance. For about extremist groups and about the nationalism and fascism group. You know, this problem, all the time this problem, maybe this is a problem, yes, really there's a problem. We had this problem in Ukraine all the time. It's not today happened. It was long time in Ukraine, especially in the western part of Ukraine, the problem with nationalism. But I want to divide it and separate nationalism from fascism. Because some group of people, of course, they have a fascism ideas, but majority of people is a nationalist, patriotic feeling and experience. They want to be the free and live in a freedom country and be Ukrainians without any branches and without any slavery. Of course, some group of people, they openly promote the nationalism, the fascism ideas. But now we have what situation changed with this, because our government, and not only our government, our new ministers, they gave a commandment, they gave a laws to protect Ukraine like one joint country and stop any separation, any problem with dividing or separating the countries. And according to this law, I see what our governor speak all the time about this Nazism and fascism experience, to stop it and joining out one idea to be one nation in one country without any fascism experience. And I think it can happen when Ukrainians will understood what they have a freedom and liberty in their country at last.
All right, well, that remains to be seen, I suppose, but certainly some of the I mean, certainly some of the materials produced by these groups are pretty frightening, at least from the outside then. But clearly then, Professor Jakusic, there is a strain of nationalism, and that's often overlooked as people look for a proxy battle between Russia and the EU. But having said that, what was the EU really up to there? There are some who say that the EU sort of precipitated this crisis by forcing Yanukovych to choose between Russia and the EU last year. Is it clear what they were up to? Do they want some sort of fight?
Very excellent questions. Let me answer them. This is right-wing nationalism. They start with anti-Russian declarations. They were done by Svoboda party, de-Russification, but now the right segment, the most powerful brigade here, pressed all the members of parliament, and the parliament and other nationalists also pressed. The parliament passed today the law on abrogating the initially, well, 1 year ago, passed law on the languages, which gave to Russian language and other languages status of regional languages. Now there is no. They are very happy that now only one national language in Ukraine. I think it's a very big problem for the revolutionaries, because they alienate the east and the south of the country. They might have waited a little bit with that in implementing their radical policies. Yesterday they tried to occupy the Russian Orthodox Church center in Kiev, or the big churches here, but they just stopped and they are controlling the entrance to it. Somebody advised to them, if they do that, this will be more alienation. So unexperienced politicians, they are creating problems for the future Prime Minister and the future President. As to European Union, I think the whole crisis was provoked by greediness and arrogance of several important Euro bureaucrats. I think after the elections in European Union, those guys, men and ladies, have to be punished by Europeans because they provoked something when they tried to impose on Ukraine an agreement which was just awful to the east and south. And only 1 week before signing this this agreement, President realized what he will have as the protests in the east. Now he has protests in the west and from nationalistic parts of the country. So Europeans, please try to analyze how do you deal with the countries which have no brain in their government. This government didn't have any kind of deliberative democracy and didn't have any discussion. It was authoritarian in trying to impose one type of policy and then another type. And then there was frustration among a lot of population who for more than 1 year was hearing that there is no plan B for Ukraine, only going one way. So there was frustration on one side of Ukraine in the east and in the west. Please look who is responsible for provoking this crisis, and try to think how we will find way out of it, because it's just the beginning of Ukrainian problems with unexperienced people who have power, who have weapons. It's not so easy to deal neither by local people nor by the West.
Two really important issues there which I need to get to.
Attempts to soothe the situation.
In our remaining time, we've only got 2 minutes left, and so I'm going to take them very quickly, one by one. First, Lilith, Russia, where does it stand right now, would you say?
Well, I think that Russia believes that Ukrainians haven't done a great service to their country. They have yet another time decided to solve their problems with revolution. Russian government doesn't believe that these populist revolutions can bring to any stability and particularly solve Ukraine's economic problems. They are concerned about their financial and economic exposure to this country. It's a biggest investor in the country, and also Ukraine is responsible for transiting Russia's gas, most of its gas, to EU. So these are practical concerns. In terms of what's going to happen in Ukraine and the new government, I think Russia is pretty much confident that there won't be really a strong government in the coming months, and its neighbor, unfortunately, will be in turmoil, particularly economic turmoil, which will have an impact on Russian businesses as well.
And Professor Corman, then, it was very interesting to hear Professor Yakushik there talk about the alienation of regions in Ukraine. That's what always leads to this speculation about the potential for the country splitting up. How real do you think that possibility is?
I think it's possible to be one nation and join together, and I think it's really in Ukraine, only politics tried to separate Ukraine. When it was in 2005 was a situation when some group of politics tried to tell the people what we are another kind of Ukraine. It happened in the Severodonetsk, in the eastern part of Ukraine. Yet again we see this ways to do this same, separate Ukraine in Kharkov again. And what we can see, what after this meeting in Kharkov, what happened 2 days ago, after this meeting, immediately the governor and the mayor of the Kharkov lose the country and fly away to the Russia. It means they tried to do separation, but after this something happened because our oligarchs, our government told to him, if you only try to separate Ukraine, you will have a problem with our laws, and they leave the country, and now they are absent in Ukraine. They are not in Ukraine. That's, I think, only few group of deputies now try to separate Ukraine. Majority people in the country try to join Ukraine. All our celebrators, all our the politics, they are recording the widow donation, try to join the people. No, don't give the direction to the politics, do it, but you yourself protect your country. And I think it's possible because the Russian position, the Kremlin position 2 days ago was, we are for one country Ukraine, for joint country Ukraine. It was the official Kremlin position, and I think only our new government can destroy everything, because I'm so sorry for this law about languages, because it's really the problem. We must not to do these laws and support these laws, because it's divided the country. We must do everything for join the country together.
Professor Alexander Corman, thank you so much. Professor Valentin Yakushik, thank you so much. Lilit Gevorgian, thank you as well. And thank you for joining us on this edition of Inside Story. If you want, send us your feedback by email to insidestory@aljazeera.net. Thanks for watching.